Oh, there is already 2 people in here. Hello. Just gonna see if I can. I can never write here on my phone. I don't know why that happens. Yeah, never mind. Just gonna wait for a little longer to see if some people will join. Hello everyone, Shabakab. Good evening. Or maybe Chekir, good afternoon, maybe whatever you are in the world. Hello everyone and welcome. This is gonna be a fun TRECENA analysis. I already have like this TRECENA analyzed in a shorter video when I used to cut. I wasn't doing the live one, so after this one you have like 2 options to watch it. And so this is gonna be the special TRECENA because it marks the restart of the counting in the Quiché tradition. This is the Oshlahu Ajmaq. So while we are waiting for some of the people to join, if you'd like to follow the graphics to see the sequence of the days, you can go to mayadaykeeper.me/calculator, or just go to mayadaykeeper.me, just press the calculator over there if you'd like to see the graphics, to see the sequence of the days, to make it easy for you to visualize. I think it helps a lot when you have something to visualize. And I was trying to pin the link in here, but somehow I cannot I cannot type here using my phone. And so if you would like to go there, just go to mayadaykeeper.me and go to the calculator over there and just put the next day, the 10th day, so you can see already the graphics for the next TRECENA. And meanwhile, while some people arrive, if you have something to tell me like how was your experience in the past TRECENA? I hope it was a good one for you. I'm gonna be summarizing what happened in the next TRECENA before we continue, so we make sure to connect all the dots. So hello Edmund. Oh, thanks man, appreciate that you're enjoying the videos in here. And let's see some more people arriving here. You got the best. Oh, cheers mate. Yeah, there is also lots of videos with my Tata Pabianteo, especially in the beginning of the channel. Or if you like to seek explanations, about the novels, there are plenty of videos that you can find over there. Hello, Ricardo, my friend. Nice to see you here again for one more TRECENA analysis. And here we go again. This is gonna be a nice one to analyze. It's also a little bit complex to analyze because of the Ajmaq sense, because there are so many meanings that are involved with Ajmaq. And this is going to be... Hey Edmond, yeah, you can go to my website. There is the session there for personal sessions, and I'm running like a promotional readings over there, so you can book like 1 reading or a pack of 4, like a full reading. There are 4 sessions. You can either use for readings, but you can also use for, if you like mentoring, talking something specific about you, not necessarily like a reading. You can go to my website and get like for this promotional price, 4 sessions. And there is other explanations of all of the type of sessions that I offer, like for relationships, and if you like to get for business stuff, you can go over there and see like what you enjoyed the most. And so I think that is already 6 people in here. And friends, one thing that I ask you, like if you enjoyed this video, just press the like button, because it helps me a lot to help the YouTube deliver more of my video for more and more people. And just to show, hello, Chante. Oh, thank you. And so I think we can start. Couldn't know what do I got in 4 sessions. Actually, the reading, you can have like a overview of everything that you can get like in the first session. Because in the first session, I'll tell you everything that you need to know, the most important thing. Because every time, like when we think about like we only consider us with one owl, because our birth now it's related to our gestation period. So the reading of this now is going to be about what happens during the gestation, your mother's experience that shaped your experience during her womb, like the baby's consciousness. That is actually what happens to how you act the way you act, how you choose the way you choose, why do like the dynamics of your actions and decisions. So everything comes from pregnancy. So the reading of the path that we call the Sikishik Ube, the reading of the path in Quiche, is about exploring what happens during the pregnancy moments. Because the nows, they are a repercussion of what happened during that moment. So rather than just entering just to the meanings and everything, we need to explore what happens during there. So in the first reading, we're going to be analyzing the 3 more dominant phases that you have. Not just your birth now, but there are the now of the system that belongs to, and also the mom. So these 3 nows can already give you an overview about your personality. The nows, like, or especially the voices that you hear that tells you, oh, to do that, do this, choose that. So in the first reading, you can already have everything that you need to know, to understand yourself. But you can also go deeper into that. You can also understand like every single section, like every single element of your system. Like that, some people can have like maybe 13 hours, some people can have like 15, some have 18. It depends of the person. And that's a way for you to track and to classify these different voices and the way that they appear and how they respond to your birth now and the other more dominant forces. So that's a way that you can go even deeper. And also beyond the reading, we can also see like in your personal counting, because there is this counting that we follow day by day in the Chorkir, but there is a counting that is called Nima Chobalkir, which starts from the moment that you are from your birth and follows the biorhythms of the sun. This is the counting that you can take like most of the use of that, because there you see like your real interactions with these nows, like what they took from you when you were growing up. Sometimes some of these nows could be a little bit traumatic according to your life experiences, so sometimes tend to shut some of your voices. So understanding that, you can see like what nows work best with you and what you can expect from the next years, and to follow their shift. So this is the most important, like I think is the reading, that like the counting, they can take like the most of the use of it. And so in these 4 sessions, I break down all of your nows in 3 sessions to do this deep reading, and then in the 4th, we enter to explore like your personal counting and some other countings that are relevant inside of the Chorkir. And so, and yeah, and that's it. So if you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram, or you can just send me a direct message on WhatsApp, that you can find that on my website as well. And just reach me as it's comfortable for you. So I think now we can start with the yeah, thanks. Yeah, I hope if you book a session, I hope you're gonna enjoy it. I think it's gonna be very insightful as well. So without further ado, let's just hop into our analysis. Then you can talk later after the analysis in here. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you can go to my website to follow the calculator and put that mayadaykeeper.me and go to the calculator, search for the next day so you can see the graphics, the next, so you can follow the sequence of the days. So we are just wrapping up the TRECENA of Oxlahu Akabal, the 13 Clarity TRECENA. They started with Humbat, one thread or one monkey. That was the beginning of new insights, like new ideas or the new work to do, like these new tapestries that we need to weave. So Bats was about to, the interweaving of the ideas that we can formulate like a plan. So these are small ideas that can connect, and then by the end of the TRECENA in Oxlahu Akabal, we could clarify stuff. We could have like a better understanding of how the things were happening. And so it was a great TRECENA for knowledge, for making us classifying the stuff that we need to bring things into the light, to see what we actually needed, or to see what kind of things we need to keep in the dark that needs to be just stated a little bit more. So the TRECENA of Akabal was talking about this clarity, but could be this as was a knowledge TRECENA. It could be also the TRECENA that can also lead us into obsession, because sometimes you fall in love with an idea, you get too excited about that, and then you kind of become too obsessive about that. So you kind of get mesmerized by the light. Or if the past TRECENA you started frustrated or entangled with the threads, it could be also the TRECENA that could lead also to inflammation of that. Sometimes it happens like a traumatic situation that makes you overthink a lot, and that inflicts a lot in how the TRECENA proceeds. So we have like these 13 days to clarify this stuff, sometimes to get out of the darkness. Because sometimes whenever we feel frustrated about something, we feel trapped about something like that, sometimes we are not really seeing like that properly. So the TRECENA of Akabal was just like bringing the light into what is in the dark, is still in the dark, to clarify that. So maybe you could realize and make it easy for us to move on, to get out of this obsession. But also if we were applying for projects and everything, was a great TRECENA. Because whenever you have like a theme, for example, Bats was giving an idea of something that we'd like to explore even further. But we don't know that yet, we just like that idea. So Oxlahu Akabal was about you get that idea and start clarifying that, doing a research so you can have more information about that idea, so you can compose like a knowledge, you can classify that into blocks of knowledge that you can use on your favor. It also we also spoke in the past recent analysis that Akabal is a very demanding owl, so it demands perfection. That's why sometimes we could end up being trapped, like being entangled by the end of the TRECENA and obsessed about that, because Akabal is too perfectionist. He likes to demand things to be so perfect, but sometimes are perfect that no one can deliver. And that's why sometimes you keep stuff in the dark, keep stuff in the code, when you could already just try to develop that on the go. So that's why it talks about when we are overthinking too much. Oh, maybe is that not good? So sometimes it's better just to give a try. But depending on what we are working, it's better just to keep a little bit on the dark, to just stay a little bit more, to clarify even more. And now in this TRECENA, we're gonna be continue with what happened in the past TRECENA. So if in the past TRECENA we ended up obsessed about something, we ended up, with heavy-headed, or just we cannot see straight, like we ended up just being like the obsessed about our ideas or entangled about any situation. Now we're gonna be entering to the Oshlahu Ajmaq TRECENA. The Oshlahu Ajmaq TRECENA, the Ajmaq now talks about many aspects. It's a now that talks about combining the complementary opposites. Just like when you have an idea and you have, like, for example, a sponsor, you have the right attitude in there, then you have like a product, you have a deal that you can form in there. But also, for example, we talk about the trembling that this join these complementary opposites is going to be talking about, like shaking the hands, or for example, in the cycle of procreation, then Ajmaq talks about is the cycle of the ancestors, is the now of the newborns. So it talks about the sex, the trembling, or the vagina in the syringe. So it's that trembling that cause, like, that gives something out of that. Like, let's go. I hope not having this too much trembling, because I got enough migraines in the past ones. But it talks about like that. For example, in the Akabal TRECENA, we got too much light, like too much clarity. In this TRECENA, we can be blinded by the light. That's as we talk about this combining complementary opposites. We talk about getting emotions getting in the mix, so you can you can go blind by these emotions. So you can start doing mistakes because you cannot see. There is so much light in your face and you don't know where you're going. Ajmaq in Quiche means the one that walks in darkness, because it's the one that has so much light in their face that feels like you're blind. So you cannot see where you're going, so you start hitting your face in the wall, and you don't know the mistakes that you are doing. So it talks about the now of making our acting in incongruence. And also talking about the mistakes. Usually you can see as the now of the forgiveness and everything, but that applies, as you commit a sin. And you don't need to apply judgment in here. So it's more about, classifying whenever you do a mistake, you can always have a chance, to make up, for that, to make right for something that you could not see before because you were like mesmerized about something. And what happens, during this process as well, is that we don't need to carry, sometimes the mistake, like the mistake of the others, to carry the weight of the mistake of the others in our life. Sometimes it's better to just let go. And this is as is the sacred TRECENA, we talk also about combining the old with the new cycle. So we're gonna be using like the old cycle, like the past experience that we had. So no worries about, if you got frustrated, if things, you planned it didn't work out. You can use that as your favor. As the past TRECENA gave us knowledge, clarified the stuff that we needed. So now we can use that knowledge that we accumulated in the past TRECENA in our favor to start to build a new one, as the time is going to be restarting in Washakibat's 8th monkey or 8th thread. And so that's going to be this TRECENA about. Just let go of what we don't no longer need to carry anymore. So that's why I was mentioning, if we carry all those obsession, like the obsession with thoughts, like so many ideas that don't connect to each other in there, so that we can accumulate so much weight on your head, like on our being, and now we need to start to free this weight. So we start this TRECENA with Kat, one burning into ashes, or one debits, one efforts. This is the now that's going to be talking about like the descending fire. Now once the now of the spring is the new springs looking for a path, is the water looking for a path. So you have a chance to start paying your debts, the debts that was left from the past cycle or that you accumulated so far. So you need to unload that from you. And Also, Kat is going to be talking about what you carry in your bag. For example, if bats is the interweaving of threads that can build a bag. Kat is the one that carries the bag, or carries like the nets that they build in their heads for carrying what they harvest from what they were planting to take to the community. So it's an effort that you do in pro of the other. So it's taken from your energy to feed the other people or the community. So we talk about like this energy that you take from you, like for the people, like your loyal ones, for your family, it could be. Or sometimes even for projects, like can be like the low fire that burns you to keep sustaining or to keep the heat so you can keep something alive in there. As we are talking about the cycle of procreation with Ajmaq, now Kat talks the transformation that happens during pregnancy, because the mother takes from her energy to start shaping the consciousness of the baby to create this new life. So she's like the god for the baby. So she's the one that's going to transform the energy. She's going to burn herself, into to create another being. So that's going to be talking also about, when we use the metaphor of the bag, it's going to be about talking about the weight that you carry in your bag, the weight of your ideas from the past TRECENA, of your obsessions. Sometimes, like if you accumulated too much, maybe it's time just to free your bag a little bit. Maybe those ideas, you don't need that anymore. Maybe because that can be something that can trap you on the stuff that you're doing. It can start just slowing you down, the stuff that you could progress way more because of this weight that you're carrying in your bag. And so that's why this TRECENA we need to carry as light as possible. So it's going to be about just to paying the debts that we accumulated in the past TRECENAs, just to let things go, the things that we don't need anymore. And so that's going to be the process of Kat. So starting by just freeing your bag. If you accumulated too much, thoughts, the past TRECENA, or you were just taking too hard on yourself because you wanted your project to be perfect, maybe it's the time just to load off that, just to cool down a little bit, because that can be a burden that you can carry, and then we're going to be adding more weight as we start progressing in the TRECENA. So Kat is going to be about just freeing your bag. If you have like a good clarity in the other TRECENA, it's going to be about like your efforts. Like now it starts for you to start devoting yourself to your project. So start just taking your energy to devote into this project, or to this person that they need, or a help that they need, or a plan that it needs, that you devote a little bit of yourself. So it's going to be about that in the most positive aspects. But it all depends on how the past TRECENA went. Because once again, every now is going to continue, just like they are passing the batons to one another. So it's not something that is fixed, that is going to be happening that day, just like in the horoscope. No, like they are nows, like they have a way of thinking, they have a mood, they have a way of communication. So it all depends on how you're going to be passing this baton ahead. And then from Kat, we're gonna go to Cape Can, to Stellar Serpent. Now 2 is gonna be the now of retraction, like the low tide. Whenever after the spring it starts opening the path, the now 2 is gonna be retract, because it needs sometimes more water, it needs more strength to go forward, because the now 1 is not that strong. It's just the first step. So now 2 is gonna be how you can calculate stuff in this TRECENA, like to get, so how you're gonna to program the stuff. Sometimes you need to take one step back to see like what happens to the next one, so you can cut what happens in there, or what you don't need in there, so you can move forward. And now Kan is the now of the Stellar Serpent that represents the sound of the thunder, Kaan in Quiche. It represents the intervention in nature. Whenever you listen to the sound of thunder, it represents that the weather is changing. Maybe it's a dry season, change for for a wet season. So it talks about these interventions, the power of the sky. Is the stellar serpent because of the shape of the lightning that looks like a serpent that falls down from the sky and gets into earth. Like a thread from the sky. So it's communication between the heart of the sky talking to the heart of the earth. So we're going to be talking about the things we need to intervene. Sometimes we need to take one step back to see like what kind of things we were obsessed in the past TRECENA, and now just to cut that. So we need to intervene in order to stop accumulating unnecessary weight on your bag that can, you know, inflict into the accumulation of that. You know, you become so heavy because of the stuff you are carrying. Maybe because you had like some people let you down, you're just carrying some of that. So it's better, you know, for you to intervene before that becomes like an even heavier weight that you are carrying. And also talks about the fury, because sometimes, you know, you are just holding back on stuff that made you angry, some stuff that you cannot let go. So 2 stellar serpents is going to be the now for you to calculate that. Maybe, you know, got something that it was irritating you, like it made you angry or just make you furious, or just acting like or a fear that's poisoning you from the inside because it keeps lingering after because of an obsession that you accumulated in the past TRECENA. So now it's time just to be aware of that and to see what you need to let go, so we can move forward, we can intervene into that. So it's time to just to make this announce of changes. It doesn't mean that it needs to be straight on this Cape Calm day, but that also helps you, you know, from day by day to start letting go of this fury that you could be holding. So it will also be like a way for you to look back to see how you can, you know, project, calculate stuff to be smarter this time, to use your wisdom on your favor. So that's the important thing of using the Cape Calm to make the calculations, to look back to see how you can go forward. That's why you can see the time in the Maya calendar, it goes back and forth, you know, to see how you're going to be weaving in time. And then from Cape Calm, we're going to go to Oshib Kame, 3 ancestor or 3 death. Now 3 is a now that opens the path. After you do the retraction to calculate or to wait for more water, now you have enough strength to go forward, to start opening the path, to start, you know, overcoming the obstacles that you see in front of you. So it's going to be the now that the water that opens the path or enters to divergence to diverge for an obstacle, so you can surpass that. And now Kame is the now of the ancestors. As this is the TRECENA that we talk about, the cycle of the ancestors is the newborns. We also talk about like what we carry in our blood, like or we carry in our DNA, the stuff from our ancestors. So you're still passing through generation to generation. So in this cycle of procreation, so we need to open the path for the ancestors to continue. So give this continuation. And so Kame is going to be talking about the support of the ancestors. So after you listen to the sound of thunder that announce some changes in nature, maybe that's where you open the path to listen to like a bigger intuition inside of you. Listen to the ancestors kind of guiding you softly over there. You know, pointing the direction you should choose, or some stuff that could be, you know, making your heart heavy. Because as we talk about this cycle, we need to learn to let go. Sometimes we need to be accustomed that people come and go from our lives. Sometimes not just they go physically, but sometimes, you know, like they pass away, they enter into the realm of the ancestors. And the ones that they feel the longing, the people have, is the one that stays. You know, sometimes you are someone that travels abroad or go to a different direction, or maybe for a trip, maybe it could be like your children because they're growing up. So you are the one that's gonna miss them because you are the one that stays in that place. So we need to open the path, you know, to let go of the suffering that we may be carrying over there. So and open the path for the support that we can give to people. So just as is the TRECENA, we are free in our bag with the stuff that we are carrying. So it's good to start also to let go of this heavy heart that we may be carrying. So a sheep kame could be a very delicate novel to open the path. So we can listen to the ancestors, we can let things go, we can honor them, and just be good with that. Just go forward, and not let the suffering stays in our way, because otherwise that we can accumulate, like if you're still just like blinded by these emotions or something that happened in the past, that can make us feel stagnant. And that's what we're going to be seeing the next now. They're going to move to Kahib Ker, for deer. Now for after the water that opens the path, you're going to be falling like in a pool of water. So you're going to be stopping there momentarily until the water fills the container. So now 4 is going to be talking about in the container, what is in the is contained in a place. It can be also represented by the dam, where you have like this big amount of water that looks to be like in stagnancy, or the well that is waiting the rain from the rain falling to grow up. So it's what could be growing up slowly. And Ker is the now of the altar. Is the now where, if we were talking about the ancestors in the past day, now Ker is going to be talking about the altar, the place where you do the communication with the ancestors. You are like you're going to be there doing the intermediation over there. So you can do your offerings, you can ask for strength. So that's now Ker, is the now of the spiritual guide, the spiritual strength that you can draw from the ceremonies. For making, or not even sometimes from ceremonies, sometimes you can go for a walk in nature just to observe stuff, so you can draw strength from being in nature. And also listen to the singing of birds, because the spirit of the ancestors, they travel through the breezes of the wind, and sometimes you can listen to them into our eardrums through the singing of birds. That sometimes brings us some insights, sometimes encourages us, to go forward, or just feel strong, or just to stand still over a hard situation. So Kahib Ker is a day to stop, to become strong, to balance yourself, not just physically, but spiritually as well. 4 and Ker, they can be cousins in meanings, because they both are talking about balance. Like 4 can be talking about something that seems to be like in a container, like balanced over there. And Ker, as is the Maya altar, is represented by a 4-legged table that represents the deer. The deer that has the white spots in the back, like it's balancing 4 legs, and also the spot that represents the stars in the sky, and the belly that represents the earth. So it's balancing in the 4 corners, and also with the heart of the sky and heart of the earth, like this ultimate balance. So it's a day to draw on strength. What you need to pay attention in Kahib Ker, because it could be depending on how we are going with the TRECENA. If we're still carrying like a lot of weight that it's been hard to free from our bag, it's been hard to let go of that stuff, Kahib Ker can be the now that stops and becomes reluctant to move. Then instead of the face of a deer, you're gonna be seeing the face of a moose. That's gonna be like the big animal that can be reluctant, like no one can, do like whatever it wants. So it can be like completely stagnation. So you cannot just like stop the flow of the TRECENA, because that, you can be accumulating more in your back. So that's not good. That's the theme of this TRECENA, is just to let go, just to free your bag, just to put your efforts into something that is worth it for you to feed. So you can see that you can maybe have more deals, you can find your complementaries, you can use the old to build the new. So that's why you need to focus on getting this spiritual strength in Kahib Ker. And then from Kahib Ker, we're gonna go to Hob Kanil 5 seed. Now 5, after the water that accumulated enough water in the container, can overflow. So it's the water that has no containment. Just like whenever a dam breaks, you cannot stop the water. Of course, you can see sometimes can cause a destruction, in the valley or in the communities that are close by. So it can be really catastrophic. That's why I say in hot days is where things can go sideways, especially like if you're just carrying a lot of weight in your bag. And now Canoe talks about the potential to something to germinate, like is the seed. The seed by itself is just the potential of becoming a huge tree, or then later producing more seeds and becoming a forest, but it's only the potential. If you don't water that, or if you just put that on the ground, so nothing's gonna come out of that. So it needs like the proper conditions to germinate. And so it needs also the proper soil, like a fertile soil. It needs also the proper heat of the sun, and also the proper amount of water. So it requires a good control of the dosage that you're gonna be using. So it can be also like if you don't know how to dose this stuff, like excess of water, it can also happen to rotten the seed. And that, can ruin everything that you are doing, especially with the now 5, where things can go like an avalanche. You can lose your hand onto that. Because sometimes if you're carrying too much weight and then you're still holding back the fury in your back, and then you're open the path suffering with something that you don't want to let go because you are stubborn, you become stagnant into something, then hop canoe is going to be something whenever you try to find an escape, like from medicines, could be alcohol, could be like something, like even coffee, like sometimes to produce more, or just to try to let go, and that can be something that can rotten you. Like when you abuse the medicines, instead of medicine, it's going to become like a drug. So canoe is all about how we dose stuff, so you can make something grow. And in this way, it's going to be talking about productivity and how you dose stuff to be able to produce more, to create more, to take more stuff. If we start just freeing our bag in the beginning of the TRECENA, and then we knew what we had to intervene to let go. Now then we open the path with support of the Kame, with a more light heart. Then with care we find the strength that we need to carry. So then after the balance of care, we can find the proportion that we need to produce in a health way to carry this TRECENA, to be if the Ajmaq is the now of the complementarity, so can be a good complement that you need something in proportion, so you don't get blinded by the light. Because if you get intoxicated in canoe to get the bloom of life, to get something more extraordinary because the ordinary is not enough for you, then you can see where Ajmaq start getting into blindness even more. Sometimes if the light that you accumulated in Nakabao TRECENA wasn't enough, then can you tell, oh, give me more of that, so you can give that boom. But sometimes you can just only fall into blindness. And that's what we want to avoid, that, because this TRECENA, the more we are grounded, just like Ahib Kerr suggested us, the better for us. And then from Hob Canoe, we're gonna go to Akib Kerr, or Akib Tor, 6 fire. We spoke about the now fire in Kat, but Kat is the descending fire, it's the one that you take from your energy to give to someone else. But Tor is the opposite, it's the ascending fire. It's the one that it needs to feed, that is demanding, like it needs the bricks, it needs the wind to grow up, or needs more gas. So it needs something. So something that we need to take from the complementary stuff from the seed. And now 6 is a now of pondering, putting things into perspective after the wrath of the now 5 of the uncontainment water. Then you have to put things into perspective to see how you can balance this stuff. So that's going to be the heart of the TRECENA. And the heart of this TRECENA is going to be about the sacrifice that we do to be in power, for us. Like if the cat talks about the debits, Tor is going to be talking about the payments that you got to do. And as this TRECENA talks about so many subjects, for example, family, talks about business, It talks about what you need to solve, what you need to pay, to put in perspective what you need to pay. Sometimes you commit yourself with so much stuff that you weren't able to handle during the cycle. Not only the past days, sometimes you need to give a try, not only for a couple of days, sometimes for a month, to see if it's really worth it, if you're really able to handle all of this pressure that everything requires, like this medicine of time. Because sometimes it can frustrate us, can break our certainties. So and then later we need to ponder if it's still worth it to be carrying that weight, to be sacrificing ourselves for that. Because sometimes that's just making us suffering, as Kame could be suggested. You just arrive here suffering, so sometimes it's better to let go. So what keep taught is a day to put your sacrifices in the scale, to wait into that, to see what is worth it to continue in the next cycle, or if it's better just to leave behind, like with the stuff that you are freeing from your bag. But could also be, you can put it in a scale sometimes, that the time that could be owing for your friends. Sometimes it could be like just too much, saying, oh, I don't have time for this because I'm working during that, and then you just leave your friends aside, your loyal ones, the ones that could be there for you whenever you need. Sometimes you need to be the one that needs to make out, for what they make up for what they need. So it's about to put into consideration what are your sacrifices that you're doing. And otherwise could be like a heavy burden to carry, could be just taking too much of your sanity, could be taking too much from your well-being, could be taking too much for your physical health as well. If we don't treat stuff, they can start manifesting to our body, and that's the way like the disease communicate to us that is something wrong, something we are not seeing. Sometimes we are not built to carry that weight because they are damaging us. So it's about to ponder what is damaging you as well. What are the commitments that you build during these past cycles, the plans that you could have created in the past TRECENA, if it's still worth it to carry that. And then you're gonna move to Ukub T, 7, dog. Now 7 represents the climax of this TRECENA, like is the hot water, like the hot springs, or can be the geyser, can be the lava from the volcano. So it's the hottest part where we can already see what's going to be accumulating into the 13 of the TRECENA. We can have a glimpse of we're going to be getting there by the end of the TRECENA. So it's the final day of this first part. So T talks about the emotions, talks about what emotions can bring for us. Sometimes they can bring us confusion, because sometimes we can get like too much attached into these emotions, but sometimes they are not what they seem. Sometimes we can be devoting our emotions for someone that doesn't deserve our loyalty. So T can talk about, like, for example, is the metaphor of the dog that can be also your best friend, can be your companion, can be the one that's going to be always there for you, is going to defend you, but also can be the one, for example, whenever you're feeding the dog, if you're going to start just taking the food away from it, it can happen to bite the owner because it's confused. The instincts comes into action before, and then it starts to be confused. He doesn't know what he's doing. So T is a noun that talks specifically about emotional confusion. Sometimes we don't know, like some things that can seems to be good, sometimes can end up being bad. So we never know like how to actually weight that. And that is the key element of this TRECENA, because what can blind us in Ajmaq is the emotions. It's like the emotions for being too connected, the emotions for the clarity we got for being like too mesmerized about what we found, like maybe a knowledge that we got into that, or we are obsessed about a person or a relationship. So T can be talking about this explosion of emotions that can blind you at the end of this TRECENA, and that can make you do mistakes. But I also can talk about like the emotions that you're gonna be also dedicating for your loyal ones. For example, Kat, as in the beginning of the TRECENA, is the one that talks about the sacrifices we do for the other, the sacrifice we do for our projects. So we always need to be there for our loyal ones, the ones that we care the most. So it's going to be talking about like the power of the friendship that we can get. So it can be the day for the family as well, the emotional bond that connects us at the end. So in this trembling, sometimes it's only the emotions like that. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing, but these emotions can take the best and sometimes the worst of us. That's why T can also represent the chaos. The chaos that can happen in you to start just escaping the reality, just going for like wild sex or being promiscuous, or just because you want to escape, not because of that. So now T can be this final judge. So it's a day to let all the emotions that you are carrying go. Just stay that in the past cycle, stay that in the past. So it's a day for releasing your emotions, the emotions that you don't need. So you can start anew in the past cycle. Just leave the good emotions. Let's just live like the people that you trust the most. The people that betrayed you, just leave that in the past. You don't need to curse them. Just wish them a nice life, a nice path. And if they are not adding to your life, to the progress of your journey, so it's not worth it to carry that weight anymore in your bag. You can always carry, keep the respect for everything, but sometimes you just need to let go of that. Could be also the business partners that sometimes could be betraying you, or you don't feel that it's being loyal to you, like they are not compensating like in the efforts that you offer for them. You never know like if they are being loyal to you as well, like if they offer the same that you're offering them. So it's a day to let go of these emotions. And then we're gonna go to Ajmaq Bats, 8th thread or 8th monkey. Here we restart the TRECENA, and also it's gonna be the day where we're gonna be restarting the time in the Quiche Maya accounting. So it's the new threads, the new ideas. So it's the new time begins, the return of time. The Quiche people, they always tend to start things in the now number 8, because the start of the TRECENA is like a new beginning where you are more prepared. The now 8 represents the rainy season that returns like with strong rains. Sometimes the now 1 can represent only when you're just listening to, if it looks like it's going to be rain because it's cloudy, but nothing happens, but you know that it's going to be coming back. So it's going to be stronger, it's going to be more prepared. Or like when we are going to be doing something for the second time, you're going to be walking the path for the second time. So now you have more peace of mind, you know what to expect a little bit as you walk the path again. So you're going to be more aware of this stuff. So it's a time that you can do something more prepared. That's why 8 is going to be a better beginning than the now 1 that is just like too soft to start. Because what is already driving and just pushing the time forward is the now 13. So 8 is the most established, now to start something. And from here you have bats. The bats represents the art, the spirituality, represents time, the threads that connects us, like that you can create like our nets of life or the web of life. So it talks about just keeping the stuff that's restarting with something new, restarting like with something that with the people that we care the most, our loyal ones. Starting with stuff that sounds more solid to continue, like the deal that sounds more concrete, to shake hands if you are talking about business, for example, because bats can also talk about work. So it's the return of putting things into actions, the return of the work. So it's a day to celebrate the stuff that, we are just restarting, just learning how we can interconnect what happens in the past cycle, and now we can weave to build something new, in front of it. Just like the Maya people, like they used to build the old pyramids on the top, like the new pyramids on the top of the old ones. So you can use always your past experiences as a base, as a foundation for you to build the better ones. Just like you can use your life experiences to start just creating a new path for your journey. So that's Ajmaq Bats. But you need to be aware, if you are not just removing all the weights that we start in the beginning of the TRECENA and you accumulate as the day goes by and with too much emotions at the end of the 7T, Then washakibatsu can end up being like the return of the entanglement, like the return of where you're gonna be trapped, by entanglement of this stuff that you don't want to let go, the ties that you don't want to cut from that you don't want to live in the past. So that can be something that can frustrate you. So that's why this TRECENA is very important to remind that the lighter we can walk, the better. Because it's good to free your bag, just to let something go. Let's just carry what we need in our bag. Like we don't need to carry our perfectionists, because nothing can be exactly perfect. So it's just learn to accept that and just move on. And then from Washakibatsu we go to Belair E9 Pathfinder. Now 9 is gonna be the now of that talks about the water that's gonna be underground, just like the humid caves that has water in there. I can also talk about the underground rivers. So it's what running, beyond our sights, like we cannot see, something that is closed doors. And now Pathfinder, now E, we talk about the path, can be the literal path, the road. For example, time we started so you can go on a vacation. So you pack up your stuff and just go. Or can be also like a spiritual journey. You go for a ceremony to connect into the spiritual realm, to get deeper insights into that. Or like if you just need to, can go for reading a book, for traveling in a story that you read in a book or in a movie, where it can also give you also some insights and give you a break from what you need. It can also add some meaning to what you need. So now 9 is going to be gestating the path ahead. As we restart the cycle, now it's time to gestate what we're going to be planning ahead for this next 9-month cycle, this next 260 days. To see later, whenever we come back to this TRECENA, if what keep taught, like all the sacrifices were worth it. So we need to feel like our list with our wishes, what we want to achieve in this, to gestate the path, to ask for a good road ahead. So it's a day to also let go of to not let the melancholies of the past, for the past cycle, return to you, to keep there with you. And remember, in the beginning of the TRECENA, we also been through the day Kebkan, 2 Stellar Serpent, that also talk about some fury that could be holding back. Sometimes that fury, if you do not let go of that, can also inflict in the melancholy you're going to be carrying here, or not wanting to let go of the past. Because the now Pathfinder is now that wants to keep moving, that wants to keep advancing. So sometimes to advance, we need to take one step back, we need to go backwards, just to intervene, like using the can, just to move away so we can progress. So it's about progress, no matter if you're just walking forward, walking backwards, or walking whatever direction. So it's about gestating the path you want to walk, like what is the meaning that you would like to give. Like something or destroyed, like you lost your purpose in the past cycle, there is always time for you to build that again. Just like bats, going to build that up again. So you can give a new purpose to find new meanings for your life. Remember, life has no meanings. If it has a meaning, the meaning of life is to find out who you are, like what is your expression here in the universe. So what is the path that you would like to express during your journey? Because at the end, like we're gonna go back to the ancestors. So it's important for us to identify ourselves, like what is our position in here. So that's gonna be about the 9E, the 9 Pathfinder. And then from here, we're gonna go to Lau A10 transformation. Now 10 is the convergence of the TRECENA, just like the lake that converges, the water that receives from lakes and also feeds like the animals and the communities that lives in the lands. So it's something that you can give and take, or just like that something can come and go. For example, in the airport, like people that are arriving and departing. So it represents that, like when you combine so many things in one single place. So it can be a place where you can do our collaboration work. You can help one another, the community work. So you can ask your friends for something in your favor, so you can also give the favor back. You can also return the favor. And now we talk about the transformation. In Quiche means home, but like our literal home. But to be practical with that, so there is not much that you can use there. So we use that descends from halbal, that's the change, is a transformation. So transformation sounds beautiful, but actually, in the context that we apply in Maya, it comes from something that makes you uncomfortable, something that takes you out from your comfort zone and needs to make you move. So something that is not very pleasant most of the times. So you need to transform because you don't fit anymore into an idea or into a group, because you got tired of that, or maybe because you got exposed that you need to change. So many aspects that lead you to transformation to make you feel incomplete. Maybe the melancholies of the Pathfinder could be still be holding that in the transformation that makes you want to move, to find something new for your life. So you need to walk this gray portal that is transformation. You need to go for these uncomfortable feelings that give you dynamics in life so you can keep moving forward. So that's now the transformation. And here in the 10 transformation is where you can ask the help for the others. As the TRECENA of the complementarity, where I can help like to find the complementary that can help us, to get deals or to enhance our stuff, or just to procreate, or to help us finding new deals. This is the moment where we can ask the help of other people. Maybe other people have some insights, valuable insights, or they can help like the complementary stuff that we need to move on, just to start transforming what we need to do to take away from that, to go away from that incompleteness that we may feel. And then from Lauch we're gonna go to Hulauch Ishvalam 11 Jaguar. Remember that I said that Ajmaq is the TRECENA that combines the complementary opposites. And now that we spoke about the now that talks about the transformation, so you're going to be needing the complementary aspects to transform, like the feminine that we're going to be talking Ishvalam, that is we can associate with the planet Earth, like that is gestating, that is the fertility that makes things grow, like the aggressive fertility, like that builds but also destroys. The same way that the earth now gives us life, is going to be the one that swallow us at the end. So it's going to be like the aggressive mother that needs to keep things in balance. Now 11 is about spreading, just like it's the scattered water. So just like when the waves hit the rocks, so you see like many spill water just going to many directions. It doesn't have a single direction. So you can talk about like spreading something. If the 10 is the convergence, the 11 is going to be also another now that diverts. So it can spread even more, or can dilute what you need. So if we are carrying the bitterness of the transformation, maybe with developing, just having the ideas to gestate over there, we can dilute, those bitterness. Maybe we can find some light over again. So we can find the fertility that maybe we saw, like if we were dosing stuff properly in Hob Canil, in the 5 seed in the beginning of the TRECENA. So that's we're gonna have like the feminine aspects to gestate, to elaborate something more in there. Also to accumulate resources over there, to expand the resources that you got. So that's gonna be the feminine aspects. And because if you feel like you are entering into barren, because you feel like you lose fertility, you're not just doing stuff. Maybe with the now 10 you could find some people that can make you move away, that can expand your horizons, so you can see the new possibilities where you can develop new stuff, new ideas that can spread like your horizon for this brand new cycle, to build new stuff. And then from Hulauch Ishvalam, we're gonna go to Kablauch Tikin 12 Eagle. Now 12 is the hidden balance of the TRECENA. Just like if we got out of balance of something happening in our 5, for example, because of destruction, remember the universe is always in balance, the same way nature is always in balance. So nature is gonna correct that. If the water from the now 5 just make like a destruction in the cities, the nature is gonna be growing a new forest, it's gonna be giving new life growing up in there. So there is always a compensation. So 12 is something that comes unexpectedly for you. And also is an owl that can give you something extra even. So, and then owl Tikin, as we talk about the feminine aspects of Ish Balam, the female jaguar. Ish means feminine, Balam means jaguar, so it's the female jaguar, as is associated with the planet Earth. As the jaguar is the one that controls the environment to make sure everything is in balance, make sure like all the deers, like they don't get overpopulated, so it keeps the balance in the ecosystem. And Tikin is going to be the eagle that flies high in the sky, so it's going to be the masculine. Remember that we are combining the heart of the earth with the heart of the sky. It's like the feminine and the masculine. So the second aspect for transformation, we need a masculine aspect. So Tikin is now the goes straight forward. The eagle is flying over there so high that when it sees a prey, goes straight forward. Instead of the jaguar, that when it sees a prey, it roams the surrounding and then goes from here give like one bite to kill, but never straight forward. That's why you can never take your back for a jaguar, because you can be attacked. But Tikin, whenever it fixes the eye, goes straight forward. So we're going to be talking about straightforward actions, like whenever you're going to go straight forward, we're going to do whatever is necessary to do that. You put your hands to work. Or whenever you accumulated the resources in the Ish Balam, is how you're going to spend the resources. So it's about, the Ish Balam talks about making an economy, like making savings. So Tikin is the one that spends the money to invest, to go straight forward with that. Just like if you have an idea and you put money, so you can have like a deal, you can make like a business, you can build a product, for example. So that's the second aspect. But we need to be focused into that. If we are accumulating, if you are blinded by emotions in this TRECENA, like you're carrying too much, maybe Tikin can be disturbed, you cannot be focused, then you can just hit your head, in the wall, because you cannot see properly. Because this trembling, the Ajmaq, like the combination of the complementary opposites in this TRECENA can also express that, that sometimes you can lose your head. That's why Tikin can express that. Whenever you cannot see straight, you're going to be hitting your head on the wall. And from Kabla Tikin, we're going to move to the accumulation in the ruler of this TRECENA, Oshlahu Ajmaq 13 complementarity. That's going to be talking about if you need to transform, we need the feminine jaguar and the masculine eagle to combine them to have something new, like to have like the procreation, to have the cycle of new deals. So that's what Ajmaq express. But also the blindness that can involve, like the emotions that are involved in all of this process. For example, if you are devoting yourself from the beginning of the TRECENA to a business or to a person, to a relationship, there are emotions involved in there as well. So that, can also, make the light go brighter and blind Ajmaq. So that's going to represent the mistakes. Or if you just hit many times, or if you made a mistake, Ajmaq is the one that whenever you go back to your senses, you put your feet on the floor. That's why it's important, like in Kahib Care for deer, to balance yourself, to ground yourself, to make sure to know where you are walking, so you avoid to make these mistakes. So Ajmaq is going to be talking about like the accumulation of that, like this big trembling that can cause in this connection of combining the old with the new, so you can get something new out of it, build something like newer with that. But that also talks about like just being aware of the emotions that we're gonna be carrying with that, and to avoid not making no more mistakes for being blind in the next cycle. So here we finish this Oshlahu Ajmaq TRECENA analysis. This the TRECENA of this restarting of the cycle. That's why we associate that with the cycle of the ancestors, the continuity of the generation. It's a cycle of newborns. The newborns are the new seed of the grandparents, so they're gonna be continuous. So we accumulate our experiences, like we fill up our bag just to pass our knowledge that we accumulate in the past TRECENA, like the clarity ahead for the new generation, so they can use and can start keep growing more knowledge, so can keep developing the stuff for keep improving our well-being in here. So that's the sense of Oshlahu Ajmaq. Also, Ajmaq can talks about whenever you unmatch something, you come into senses and then, oh my gosh, I was falling in love with that, but then you realize what is in front of you and say, oh yeah, no more. Yeah, oh my God, what I was doing. So it's a mix, can be like a mixed cycle, like a mixed feeling cycle, can be, you know, a little bit heavy to let go, but the more we are able to let go, to don't carry anything that it could be negative for us, the better. And let's just start a brand new cycle in a brand new way. So if there is any questions in here about this TRECENA or about Maya calendar, the Maya culture in general, just let me know. If not, we can just close the live because we're just passing 1 hour here. And I'm here for a few more minutes if you have any more questions. I'm usually excited about this TRECENA, especially like whenever it gets to Ajmaq. Because one thing that I tend to do a list, and I take these 4 days from Wakip Tor to Belair to start doing my plans, to see what worked, what didn't work, to release what I don't need anymore, to start rebuild something again, to see what I can do with this new stuff. So for me, it tends to be a good time. So everyone, so there are no questions, so we can cease here, can shut the live. So thank for everyone who stayed here until the very end with me. And Kamo, Nimalah, Kinkamawa, thank you everyone so much. And I see you all in our next TRECENA analysis, and I wish you already a great TRECENA ahead. Bye bye.